Hello to you all. My name is Marcelo Tibau. I'm one of the authors of this study named The Impact of Non-Verbalization Think-Aloud, Understanding Knowledge Gain Indicators, Considering Think-Aloud Web Searches. My co-authors are Sean Siqueira. Both Sean and I are from UNIRIO, the Federal University of the State of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and Bernardo Pereira Nunes, which is from the Australian National University. Let's start. Search environments continuously shift the way people develop mental and physical resources to information seeking. Therefore, understanding users' online information searching behavior and acquiring ways to evaluate their knowledge gain are important to advance search engines development. While examining the features that provide knowledge gain in search sessions using a Think-Aloud search experiment, we notice a non-verbal predominance when the participants performed cognitive activities related to their examinations of the search results. Moreover, we notice that those examinations could be connected to knowledge gain. I will explain it further in the presentation. Since a Think-Aloud protocol demands verbalization and ordinary web searches usually carry out in silence, we identified periods of verbalization and non-verbalization. Non-verbalization meaning periods of silence, verbal fillers, and writing during a qualitative searching study. The Think-Aloud protocol was conducted with 26 users. Each analysis took an average time of 8 hours, corresponding to some 208 hours in total. We used an online information searching strategy framework that had 35 codes characterizing searching strategies to compare to the identified verbal and non-verbal periods. The goal was to find out whether there is a statistical significance between search activities during periods of verbalization and non-verbalization, and indicators related to knowledge gain activities. A few examples of what would be knowledge gain activities would be an activity such as comparing and contrasting the pieces of information retrieved from different websites. Another one would be keeping an account of the information relevant to the search tasks found on a website. You guys can find further information regarding related works and how we apply the Think-Aloud method in this study, as well as the participants' profile, how we examined the query data, the meaning of each code used from the online information search strategy. Allowed me to jump a little bit ahead to explain how we found out what we call knowledge gain indicators. We based our analysis of the searching strategy indicators on 4 concepts that we took from controlled cognitive processing. Explaining ASAP what is controlled cognitive processing, it is an information processing approach defined by cognitive psychology as the required conscious effort from individuals to comprehend, elaborate and restore into memory the information presented by an information source. We use this concept as constructs. I don't recall if I already mentioned what are those concepts. They are the concepts of cognitive absorption, comprehension, elaboration, memory. Cognitive absorption, meaning the construct that better describes the state of full engagement and immersion. Comprehension as the construct that better describes the ability to interpret word meaning in context, to recognize relevant information, and to synthesize scattered information. Elaboration, meaning the construct that better describes the abilities to organize knowledge into a coherent structure and integrate new information with existing knowledge structures. And finally, memory, meaning the construct that better describes the ability to encode, store, and retrieve data or information when needed. We were able to determine 16 indicators with at least one of the attributes related to knowledge gain. You can read in the paper the indicator's description, but it is important to keep in mind that these indicators are most related to metacognition. What we wanted were to answer the following question. Does verbalization discourages knowledge gain during web search? Well, to answer it, we set 3 hypotheses. Our null hypothesis was knowledge gain indicators are not related to certain activities during periods of verbalization. The first alternative hypothesis was that knowledge gain indicators are related to certain activities during periods of verbalization, but not related during periods of non-verbalization. And the second alternative hypothesis was that knowledge gain indicators are related to certain activities during periods of both verbalization and non-verbalization. Let's talk a little bit about the evaluation methods. We used the quiz-square test of independence, compare it to a critical value, which is determined by the level of significance, typically a p-value of 0.05, and the degrees of freedom. We also analyzed the nature of the dependence between the row and the column variables to determine the most contributing cells to the total q-square by using the Pearson residuals. Let's see the results. We got a high q-square, which indicates a substantial divergence between the observer data and the null hypothesis. The observer p-value was close to 0, which indicates a significant result. We would like, though, to call attention to the Pearson residuals that you can observe in this kind of graphic table. Positive residuals are in blue and negative residuals are in red. The knowledge gain indicators positively associate with the non-verbalization column. You can read the tables from left to right. Reorder the codes position to provide a better visualization of what we are talking about. Besides the 8 indicators, E1, E2, E3, E4, SMI6, SMI7, SMI8, and PT3, you can see in the second table from left to right that the C6 and C8 indicators also bear an attraction to the non-verbalization column, while the remaining indicators show a repulsion. In this sense, we reject the null hypothesis. Concerning the alternative hypothesis, we argue for the acceptance of the second alternative hypothesis, since half of the identifier knowledge indicators bear an attraction to non-verbalization periods, and half of them bear an attraction to verbalization periods. Well, let's wrap this up. We were able to observe a predominance of periods of non-verbalization when the participants display their behavior more likely to be characterized as cognitive. The fact that both p-value and personal residuals did indicate the association between knowledge gain indicators and periods of non-verbalization seems to provide a window to explore the overlap between hyperlink theory, searching, and knowledge gain by observing the cognitive effects of search interactivity. Allowed me to read a paragraph from our study regarding this subject to give you more context. Let's see. Hypertext theory adheres to our study through the user's browsing behavior. The notion of author is reconfigured to be considered not as the author of the study, but as the text itself, as well as the reader. They became a centralized network of codes, meaning the author, the reader, and the text, which serve as nodes within another centralized network, meaning the internet. Hence, identifying and relating users' searching behavior to the knowledge gained during the web search session is related to hypertext and information exploration and visualization. It is a step toward improving web search engines to aid the users in satisfying the information retrieval related objectives. It might also provide features to a search engine to account for the knowledge gained from a search session if it can successfully identify at least the 8 online information searching strategy indicators related to cognitive tasks captured by non-verbalization. It would also provide more opportunities to identify users' information needs and to promote personalized information adding. That's all, folks. Thank you. I hope to see you guys in person anytime soon.